Hi everyone, welcome to this demonstration on workflows. Workflows is an automation tool within ECC, and you could use workflows to trigger various notifications and use it for streamlining the work processes within your organization. I feel that workflows is not that used within ECC customers, partly because of lack of knowledge within the customers. But I hope that this video is going to demonstrate and help you to create your own workflows and maybe make it as a tool which your business can use. So I am going to show you a workflow. It's a simple workflow which explains the concept. This workflow is going to trigger a mail um, every time a sales order is changed. Okay, and let's say it's going to send a mail, a different mail if that order is low value, let's say less than $1,000 of net value, and it's going to send a separate one if it is a high value, which is more than $1,000. So I am in SWDD transaction, which is the workflow builder, and I am creating a new workflow by clicking on this icon that you see here. When I come to this workflow builder, you can see that there are different panes or windows in this screen. This one is a graphical model where you could see, um, you know, kind of a flow chart, if I may say. On the left hand side, you could see the workflow, the version, and status. Right now, the workflow number is not generated because I haven't saved it. But as we go along, you would see that workflow number will get generated automatically. Then there is a navigation area where there are different steps, and a workflow could consist of multiple steps. Now, right now, you could see that there's only one step, which is also not defined. Apart from that, we have workflow container that you could see. Workflow containers are basically data containers, and they could be used within the workflow to access data and decide the flow of system as per that. I'll shortly show you how workflow container could be used. On the right hand most side, this is like a bird's eye view of where we are in the workflow. Some workflow could be very complicated and very long, so you could use this right hand panel to zoom in into a specific section of the workflow. Okay, so now having said that, let's save our workflow. So let me save this. Okay, so I am just saving it as a local object. You can see that there's the workflow number, and we are on the 0000 version. Okay, now as our workflow is dependent on changing of the sales order, so I would go ahead and create a container which has the sales order. Okay, so okay, now you could see that uh, I have different options which I could refer to an object type, dictionary reference. So I could actually go ahead and use the business object for sales order. So if you okay, let me search, so you can see that BUS 2032 is sales order. So I go ahead and save it. Okay, so no spaces. So anyways, so here we have the workflow container getting created. Okay, and I can just change the properties, and I can choose to have import and export parameter settings. I could also indicate whether this is a multi-line element, and I could also set up the initial value if I want to set, but I'll not do it right now because I'll show it to you later. Okay, so now I have the workflow container. Now let me go ahead and define the step. So my first step is to check whether the sales order is a high value or not. So what I do is I go ahead and create a step. Now as soon as I go ahead and create a step, I get these options. So a step could be an activity, a web activity, send mail, a form, and so many other types. Okay. In our case, as you would have guessed, it's a condition. So I go ahead and create a condition. Okay. So outcome, if it is true, is if a high value, otherwise a low value. Okay. Now I have to create a condition. So what I do here is I click to create a new condition, and I go inside this, and yeah, I have the net value out here. Okay. And so when I put that, if it is greater than or equal to 1000, I'll consider that as a high value. Okay. If it is false, then it's a low value. So my condition set. Okay. Now you can see that this check is already built in, and I have a flow which is low value, and there's a different route for a high value. Now if it is a low value, now let me go ahead and create a step out here. So if it is a low value, I'm going to send a mail. Now who is going to receive that mail? Okay, I have different options out here. Okay, based on email, organizational object. Right now I have chosen workflow initiator, so whoever is going to initiate the workflow will get this email. So here I would say low value order changed. So here this is the subject. Dear user, uh, sales order has been changed. It's a low value order. Thanks. Workflow team. So this is basically the email which is going to be sent out. So I am saving this local object. Now again, if it is a high value, I'm going to create a step which will again send an email, and this time I'm going to say is high value. So here, as you can see that I'm going to paste the same thing and just replace the text. So we are good to go. Now, one thing which I missed out in this process is this workflow should get started if a sales order is changed. So that is something I should have defined out here. Now let me go ahead and change the container. So in this one, basically, if I go and go to the header of the workflow, I can see that it is a start event, and here I could say that business object and sales order, and what is the event which is going to trigger. So I have all these events. I'm going to say changed. So I'm saving it. So now if I go back to the workflow, you can say that every time the sales order is going to change, it's going to check the net value, and depending on whether it's high value or low value, it's going to send an email. So we are done with the definition. Now let's check the syntax. Now, as you can see that the syntax looks okay, and I'm going to activate this. So now the workflow is active. Now let's test a workflow. Now you can see that out here, when I go ahead and test it, I can assign a value to sales order, and I can do it like this. 10488 is a recent order that I created. Now I go ahead and execute. As soon as I do that, it says the work item ID is in progress. Now, to see the workflow log, I could click here. You can see that all the steps are complete and the mail has been sent. Now, that's good. And if I go to the business workplace, you can see that I have 100 document. A high value order has changed, and this is the automatic notification I got. Now, was it actually a high value order? So let's go inside the order to check. Yes, it is more than $1,000, so it was a high value order. So as you could see that we defined the workflow and we made a decision based on the net value, and it triggers a automatic notification to the user if um, the value of the order is less than 1,000 or greater than 1,000. So I hope that you found this demonstration useful. If you have any questions, any comment, please feel free to put that as a reply to the post, and one of us will definitely get back to you. Thank you so much for your time, and really appreciate that.